Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955 in San Francisco, California. His biological parents were not married, so they gave him up for adoption. Paul and Clara Jobs adopted Steve and raised him in a loving home in Mountain View, California. They always encouraged him to learn and be curious. Steve was a smart child who loved to take things apart and see how they worked. His father showed him how to work with tools and build simple machines. Steve liked spending time in the garage with his dad, learning new things. This experience later helped him in his career. He went to school like other kids, but he did not always enjoy it. Sometimes, he got bored in class and played tricks on teachers, but he was very clever, and he read a lot at home. He was also interested in electronics and computers at a young age. In high school, he met a boy named Steve Wozniak. They both loved computers and electronics. They quickly became friends. This friendship would later change Steve Jobs' life and the world of technology. Steve Jobs went to Reed College in Oregon after high school. But the problem is, he did not enjoy it much and thought it was expensive, so he dropped out after 6 months. But he continued to attend some classes secretly. He slept on the floor of friends' rooms and returned Coke bottles to buy food. He also ate free meals at a local temple. Though life was hard, he learned many interesting things. One of them was calligraphy, which later helped him design Apple's first computer fonts. Even though he left college, he never stopped learning. He read a lot and explored new ideas. Steve was deeply interested in things that mixed art and technology. He wanted to make computers not only useful but beautiful too. After college, Steve went to India in search of spiritual peace. He stayed in villages, met holy men, and meditated. This journey had a deep effect on him and changed how he looked at life and work. In 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak started a company named Apple. They began the company in Steve's parents' garage. Wozniak built the first Apple computer, and Jobs helped sell and market it. They wanted to make computers that were easy to use. Their first product, the Apple I, was simple but smart. It got attention from tech lovers. Soon, they made the Apple II, which became very popular. It helped Apple grow into a big company. Steve was a tough boss with big dreams. He wanted everything to be perfect. He worked hard and pushed his team to do their best. Sometimes people thought he was too strict, but he wanted to make great products. By the early 1980s, Apple became a famous name. Steve was still very young, but people started calling him a genius. He had new ideas, and he believed that computers could change the world. In 1984, Apple launched the Macintosh. It was the first computer with a mouse and a nice screen. It looked beautiful and was easy to use. People loved the idea, but the sales were not as high as Apple hoped. Steve had many creative ideas, but he often argued with others in the company. Some leaders didn't agree with his style. Soon, the board of directors asked him to leave Apple. Steve was heartbroken. He had started Apple, and now he was out of it. But Steve didn't give up. He believed that failure was just the start of something new. He decided to build a new company called Next. He also bought a small animation company named Pixar. Though things were hard, Steve kept going. He said that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that ever happened to him. It gave him a chance to grow and try new things. Pixar was a small company when Steve bought it. It made animated films using computers. Steve believed in its power and invested money and time into it. Many people thought it wouldn't work, but Steve stayed hopeful. In 1995, Pixar released its first film, Toy Story. It was the first full movie made by computer animation. The film was a big hit. Kids and adults loved it. It became the highest-grossing film of the year. Pixar made more films like Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Monsters, Inc. Each one was a big success. Steve Jobs became a respected name in Hollywood. Pixar changed the world of animation. Because of Pixar, Steve made a lot of money and became a billionaire. But more than money, he was happy that people loved the stories. He always said that good design and emotion were more important than technology. In 1996, Apple was not doing well. The company was losing money and falling behind other computer companies. Apple decided to buy Next, the company Steve had started after leaving. This move brought Steve back to Apple. At first, he came back as an advisor, but soon, he became the CEO again. Steve started making big changes. He removed products that were not doing well and focused on making better ones. In 1998, Apple launched the iMac. It was colorful, simple, and fast. People loved it. Apple started making money again. Steve had saved the company he had once built. Many people were surprised. Steve had come back and turned everything around. He believed that design, focus, and passion were the keys to success. After the iMac, Steve wanted to change music. In 2001, Apple launched the iPod. It was a small device that could hold thousands of songs. People loved how easy it was to use. Next, Apple created iTunes, a digital store for music. Now people could buy songs online legally. This changed the music industry forever. Steve said, "People want music to be simple and fast." The iPod and iTunes made Apple even more successful. People of all ages started using Apple products. Steve was now seen as a tech hero around the world. Steve believed in keeping things simple. He said, "Simple can be harder than complex, but it's worth it." This thinking made Apple's products easy to love. In 2007, Steve introduced the iPhone. It was not just a phone, it was a phone, a music player, and an internet browser in one. The audience clapped and cheered when they saw it. The iPhone was beautiful, even fast, and fun to use. It didn't have a keyboard, just a touchscreen. People around the world rushed to buy it. It changed the way we communicate. Later, Apple made the App Store. This let people download apps for games, shopping, learning, and more. The iPhone became more than a phone. It became a part of daily life. Steve said, "This is only the beginning." And he was right. The iPhone started a new chapter in technology. Many other companies began to copy Apple's ideas. In 2003, Steve was told he had cancer in his pancreas. He tried to treat it with special diets at first, but later had surgery. For a while, he got better and returned to work. He kept working on new products like the iPad. In 2010, Apple launched the iPad, a thin tablet. It was great for reading, watching videos, and browsing the web. Again, people loved it. But Steve's health began to get worse. He became thin and weak. In August 2011, he resigned as CEO of Apple. He said he could no longer meet his duties. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away at the age of 56. People all over the world cried and remembered him. He had changed the world through his ideas and hard work. Steve Jobs left behind more than products. He left a way of thinking. He believed in passion, focus, and doing your best work. He always said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." Apple became one of the richest companies in the world. The iPhone, iPad, and Mac are used everywhere. Steve's thinking about design and simplicity is still followed at Apple. Many people wrote books and made films about his life. Some called him a genius. Others said he was too tough. But no one could deny that he made a big difference in the world. Today, people still learn from Steve Jobs. He showed that one person with a big dream can truly change the world. And even though he is gone, his ideas still live on.